Alright, so we're in the basement here, mechanical side, and going to be working on changing this whole house filter here. So the backstory behind this is when this water softener was put in, guys that put it in said they don't put them in without a whole house filter. So, and they told me probably about once a year you should change that. It's probably been longer than that. I honestly don't know off the top of my head. I know the first go around it was 2 years, and it actually didn't look bad. It's just for bigger particles. So the type of filter that looks, at least it looks like this. I don't know if that's what was originally in there, but I just bought something that looked the same. So this just says water filter, 5 micron, 10 by 4.5. Seeing so it moves bigger stuff here, the rust, sand, dirt, silt, and other sediments. It's just so that those particles don't get in the parts of the water softener here and ruin the components, I guess. So, and then the way they installed this was they have 2 check valves on here, or not check valves, ball valves. So we got one up here, which is going to be the supply coming in, and then this would be on the other side. So if you do this right, when you change this filter here, take this ball valve, you're going to close this one, and there that isolates the system then. So you can open this, there isn't any pressure from the house side still wanting to push, and then there's no pressure from the supply side. So we are on well water. So we have a pressure tank and then a well pump. This pressure tank was put in March of 2000, and then the well pump was put in, I believe, 2 years ago. 2 years ago in the spring. Maybe it was a year. It was either a year or 2 years. It's not more than 2, I know that. I'd have to look at the instructions and then, or the receipt that I got on it when I paid the bill. What I should do is write that on the unit so I know. Surprised that they didn't write it on here. No, I don't see it. So, yeah. So what I'm going to do here is take that filter out, and I'll show you how I do it. Now the first thing I do, because I did have issue with this when those guys installed the water softener, is to turn off the water heater. Now the reason that I'm turning off the breaker for the water heater is when they installed it, this panel was mismarked, or the breakers were moved or whatever, so they went up in here and they saw water heater 1618, they shut that one off, which is where 16 and 18, that's not even, whatever. They shut it off, and they didn't shut off the water heater, they shut something else off, a stove or something. So when they did that and they drained the water heater out, they burnt up the elements. So I always turn that off. Now there shouldn't be, like I said, the way we're doing it here, when we isolate the 2 ball valves here, there should be no air in the system at all, because we're just going to pull it there and shut it there. So the pressure in the system, and no one's using water, the wash machine's not running, but it's just a safeguard. I like to turn it off, and then when I do have everything put back together again and I turn it back on, I'm going to turn the water on first, drain some water out, especially on the hot side, to make sure there is no air in that tank, so there's absolutely no chance of those elements burning up. And yes, this was installed in 2011, so we're getting close there. Alright, here we go. So this is the tool for the filter to remove it. So first of all, we're going to turn that one off there, this one here off is down. One thing to note, when they did put this water softener in, I don't think they could have done a quicker, more, what is the word I'm looking for? It doesn't look real nice. Like, I feel like they could have made this look a lot nicer than what they did. Instead, they did the quickest, fastest install, and I suppose that's what they want them to do in that type of thing. But if I were to do it, or someone that took pride in their work, I guess they wouldn't have done it that way, because I just absolutely do not like the way that looks. So, and we'll see. I don't believe that this was very tight. We get everything off, so we shouldn't have any issues here. Holy Jesus, that's tight. Oh boy. Alright, that is very snug. Let me go do what I do here, pause it and see what I can find. Okay, so first of all, there's a pressure release on top here. You can press that. They'll take any pressure that's out, and a little bit of water came out. Also, they use concrete, not anchors, but like those plastic pound-ins, and then ran these screws in. Yeah, it's terrible. The whole bracket's coming off the wall, so I'm gonna have to figure out a different way of fixing that at some point. Alright, so I got it loose. It was extremely tight. The way I did it was to hold my hand up here and then push to get it loose, because otherwise you would never get it. Yeah, this is ingenious here. How am I supposed to get this off now? I can't. I have to retighten it here and then slide it down. Yeah, this whole setup here is very very hokey the way they did this. And then we'll see what water we end up losing here. So if you did this and I should probably have a pail. You didn't take the water pressure off, or if you forgot to turn the water off, at this point we would have about, what am I set to, about 50 or 55 psi water probably spraying out at us. I don't think I'm set to 60 psi. Oh yeah, there's some. Ooh. Ow. Ah. It's raining. Alright, let me I bought a towel thinking that I'd be able to do this. Let me go grab a pail. Alright, got my pail. My pail was, I just got done washing the car, so there's me some soap in it. Also, if you're hearing that, the dryer is right above us, that's what's running. So hopefully the gasket on this thing isn't bad, because if it is, you may be out of luck. That'd be close. Whoa! Whoa, Nelly. Oh yeah, gasket looks alright. Like I said, they could have done this just a little bit different to give a guy a little bit more room to service this thing. Boy, and this filter looks really bad this time, which is impressive. And I'll tell you why in a second here, why I think it looks the way it looks this time around. Actually, let's show you it. So there it is. So I can tell you the last time I pulled the filter out, it looked a little dark, a little black. This is obviously filtering out some dirt. This has filtered out a lot of dirt. And I think part of the reason, looks like rust basically, part of the reason is for this, like I said, I had the well pump replaced, and I think that was either a year or two ago, and then I never did anything with this, so let's dump this water and see. Anything at the bottom here? Oh yeah. So that's what that looks like. We're going to rinse that out. Woo! Man! Let's grab some of that and see what that is. Yeah, it just looks like pieces of rust. So, yeah, last time it definitely didn't look this way. I would assume because the well pump was replaced, and that whole process when they replaced the well pump, then they did it in the morning. They pulled the old pump, which was original to the house, that was like 40 plus years old, and it just started kicking out. Wasn't always running right. It would kick out the override or the motor safety, and the guy said that definitely past the lifetime of the pump, and that pump was actually oil filled. So he's like, if that were to rupture, you would end up with oil in your well, and he's like, that's not a good situation to have. And then two, when they did put the new pump in, they left the water run from the time they left until I got home. He said to leave it run, so it ran, I don't know, 8 or 9 hours it ran, and that's to flush the contaminants and all that stuff out. And then they do a water test, and then he had to let me know before we could still shower with it and stuff like that, but they didn't want us cooking or drinking with it until to make sure that there were no bacteria or anything like that. So, and he said, yep, it came back, tests were good. So I'm assuming some of this stuff was knocked in there, so that's good. Water pressure was still pretty good yet, so, and that thing was obviously doing its job, filtering out these like rust particles. So it's actually kind of cool that this actually was something this time. Like I said, last time the filter just had like some black on it. There was no chunks or anything close to this, so that's pretty cool. Alright, so you can see here there's a little bit of grease on this O-ring. It's kind of like changing a filter off like a I want to say a diesel engine. This is our new filter. Ooh, that's really white. Let's back up a little bit here. There you go. So you can see the difference. Yeah, so let's get this thing in here. I'm just going to drop it in. There's like a little, I should probably show you that. There's a little tab down in there that you're going to set that on top of. And make sure it's in there. It looks like we are. You probably can't see, I can. Sitting on top, and then also up in here, there's like a spot in the center. Pretty much self-aligns. I mean, it's pretty simple. You can see the way it's flared there. So, and it's a good idea to have some of this plumber's grease. You don't want to just put any old grease on here. There's a plumber's grease, and I may put a little bit more on there. They kind of had it gooped it up. It feels like it's a little dry. You definitely don't want to tear that gasket because then you'll have issues. The other thing is, to clean this out, I went upstairs. I'm like, oh, I'll use the kitchen sink to clean this out. The water is turned off, so there is no pressure, if you recall correctly. So the way I did it, I came over to my pressure tank here, and I actually used this valve right here because this is before that whole system. So, and I just got a couple cupfuls of water out of there, and lo and behold, I got her cleaned up and ready to go. So I'm gonna go grab some of that plumber's grease and just put a little bit more on there before I give this a go. Alright, so this is what I used here. This is the stuff. It's plumber's faucet and valve grease. It's waterproof, and then also it won't eat away the O-rings. If you use like some sort of oil or something on there, it'll probably eat it away. So, alright, let me get it set up and I'll screw it back on. Alright, so here we go. I get this thing, boy, this is so much lighter without all this water in there. Get this thing threaded back up in here. And, oh, it sounds like the kids are home. I'm just going to kind of spin this into place here. And I don't know how tight this is supposed to go. It doesn't say anything on here. It just says the maximum PSI is 100 PSI is recommended. The pressure regulator is set at 75 or less. Yeah, where, like I said, I think at the most I'm 60, and I think it kicks in around 38 or so. I don't know if I'm going to go as tight as I did last time because that was really tight. Just crank it a little bit here. Oh, that's really tight already. Let's see. And I could kind of see the sticker back here before. So what I'm going to try to do here now is turn the water back on and cross our fingers here. We should probably dry this off so if we see leaks or something we can address that right away. Hopefully nothing's going to leak on us here. We'll slowly turn this on. So it's filling up. It's sounds like it's full. The water pump kicked in because it was set to the correct PSI. Nothing's dripping the way it looks, so we can turn on to the rest of the house now. And holy cow, this one goes hard. Let's turn this one up a little bit. Yeah, why can't I get this one to move? Is it seriously that tight? I suppose all the pressure, huh? There it is. Alright, so that's on. Sounds like it's filling. You can hear it taking water somewhere here. Nothing's leaking yet, so that's good. I think we got her. Alright, so I'm gonna go. Something is definitely running right now. That's weird. I'm gonna go check. Alright, so I just got done. I opened up all the faucets. I flushed both toilets. Opened up all the spigots outside as well on the garden hoses. So there appears to be there was no air in the system. So that actually worked pretty well. If there was, there couldn't have been much air in there. So yeah, so that's done. No leaks. Good to go.